Sure, we'll save. Why not? Alright, let's open the old handbook. Alright, truth bullets, what do we got? So we got the file. The victim was Chihiro Fujisaki. At the time of death, estimated to be around 2 a.m., the body was discovered in the girls' locker room on the second floor of the school. The cause of death was a blow to the head with a blunt object. She was killed instantly. Although Chihiro wanted to get stronger, she declined several invitations from Sakura and Oi, and may have used the locker room late at night to avoid them. Despite this, Chihiro had stated that she desired help with her efforts. She may have been meeting someone in the locker room the night she was murdered. Whether Kyoko skill is neural liberation has recheck last stream? Okay. The dumbbell found on the floor of the girls' locker room had a significant amount of blood on it. Chihiro had told anyone willing to listen that she wanted to get stronger. Some assume that due to her inferiority complex about being weak, she admired strength more than anything else. Which actually, come to think of it, I mean, not just to be like sexist or anything, but if we're operating under the theory that Chihiro may have actually been a man, that makes a lot more sense to have a complex about being like a frail, weak man versus. And great, I could be wrong on this. I don't think most girls kind of obsess about, oh, I'm so weak, I can't bench press enough. Whereas as a man, yeah, being able to, your physical strength is something that it comes up, I think, more often in the male psyche. To unlock a locker room, you have to swipe your e-handbook over the card reader. You need a male student's handbook for the boys' locker room and a female student's for the girls. It is not possible for two people to enter at the same time. Additionally, lending someone your handbook is a violation of school regulations. The handbook of each student that has died is placed in the mailbox in the main hall. One of the handbooks found in the main hall had been broken, which is apparently a rare occurrence. Junko and Sayaka's handbooks both seem to still work, so it is assumed that the broken handbook is Leon's. However, Monokuma claims it's very unlikely that Leon's handbook would have broken. Suspected genocide jack victims include Ken Harada, Tetsuhiro Honda, and Soji Gaku, among countless others. They were killed in the same way and mounted to a nearby wall. The word bloodlust was found at the scene of each crime, written in blood. Profiling indicates the killer is likely a student suffering from a split personality. But how would someone carry her back in if only one person is out at a time? Her body on? I mean, I think if she's dead, I don't think she counts as a person anymore. Chihiro seems to have consciously kept her distance from the other girls at the school, even from the beginning. Meanwhile, it had been noticed that she got along remarkably well with her male classmates. The carpet in the boys' locker room was found with a blackish stain on it. Blood was found on the poster in the girls' locker room. The poster features a big-breasted supermodel popular among young boys. Meanwhile, the poster in the boys' locker room was for a boy band popular with teenage girls. Chihiro's handbook was not found on her corpse and has apparently gone missing. Chihiro's body had been suspended into her... Hold on. Chihiro's is the one that's broken. Whoever killed her knew her secrets and knew that it getting out would make the ruse that the murder happened in the girls' locker room less believable. Therefore, they broke the handbook so no one could check it later on to see, like, oh, does this actually work to get into the girls' locker room? It doesn't. Huh. Okay. Chihiro's body had been suspended and her hands had been bound with some kind of rope. Her fatal injury was a blow to the head. Sakura mentioned that she was responsible for a coffee stain on the girls' locker room floor. However, the stain had since been inexplicably scrubbed away. Byakuya was known to use this lamp often. However, the extension cord had gone missing at some point, and the lamp's cord couldn't quite reach the outlets. On the night of the murder, right before nighttime, Chihiro was spotted leaving the warehouse. It seems she was stuffing some blue exercise clothes into a duffel bag. Presumably she was on her way to exercise, but the clothes were not found at the scene of the crime. Celeste had not told anyone other than Makoto about this encounter. Okay. So how do you think they broke it? What do you think the handbook weakness is? I have no idea. Could be a number of things. I think that's something that'll probably come out during the trial itself, but I don't really have a theory about that. It's probably like something really specific, like, oh, if you like unscrew this screw or whatever, that voids the warranty and bricks it or something. I don't know. Don't forget to equip the skills. I will not forget to equip the skills. All right, so let's look at our skills. Okay, so I have 3 of 14 skill points. So, I mean, there's no reason to not do Melodious Voice. Increases damage to the opponent when a statement is destroyed, effective during the bullet time battle. Cost 3 SP. Not sure what this was a bit harder than the first murder. Seems like it. Neural Liberation. The focus gauge decreases more slowly during concentration and fever time, effective during the non-stop debate, the Hangman's Gambit, and the bullet time battle. Alright, thank you, my lovely partner in crime here. Alright. I'd say we're ready. Let's get into this. All right, the Honorable Judge Monokuma.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results.
We've already been through this. We know how they work.
If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Okay, then. So, first off, let's talk about the murder weapon!
At first, we have to make clear what was used to deliver the fatal blow. Alright. Genocide Jack case file, library, desk lamp, locker room, dumbbell. I think the case file is probably going to be relevant here. Because we know from the Genocide Jack cases that they tend to be stab wounds.
The killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
Okay, well, alright.
I bet it was an iron pipe. Interesting. That certainly would make for a powerful weapon.
Or Chihiro.
Now, the weapon that was used here must have been in the locker room, of course.
Chihiro's fatal injury.
I forget what the button is that activates, like, the bolt time. Is it tab?
The Monokuma file. The killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been? I bet it was an iron pipe.
Sorry, man. Just the dumbbell.
Can we agree that the object that dealt the fatal blow was the dumbbell found at the scene of the crime?
Kyoko very OP with the focus gauge. Indeed, indeed. Kyoko is the best. Keyboard controls are whack. Seems background looks like the courtroom curtains. Oh, does it? Oh, yeah.
It was covered in blood, and there was
For maximum
nothing else at
immersion.
the scene that could have caused that kind of injury.
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell.
Thank you, Kyoko.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this one.
You looked at her head wound?
Of course. It's a murder case. You got to.
Yes! That's so creepy!
If you don't mind, I will proceed from here. Let's move on to discussion of the culprit. Although, I believe the criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear.
What? For real?
Chihiro's killer is the fiendish serial killer, Genocide Jack.
Huh. Genocide Jack, the fiendish serial killer? Did he really kill Chihiro? New element has been added to the non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? I guess, if it's new, sure. For this debate, lines of white noise will appear to disrupt your reactions. Your truth bolts will disappear if they hit these lines, so think of them as obstacles in your debate. But there's a way to keep this white noise from getting in your way. Press the right mouse button to attach the silencer, which you can use to shoot down the white noise. However, if you shoot an actual mark with your silencer instead of the white noise, the timer will decrease, so take careful aim when you have your silencer out. Okay, interesting. Mods. sheesh. Look. I'm still not great with. Okay. Look. There. Look, I'm not sure if that was a joke or something. If it was, it's not funny. We've got a zero tolerance policy for any potential game spoilers. Alright, anyways. Back to the game. Oh, but if your action difficulty is set to gentle, white noise won't appear at all. In which case, you can forget about the silencer and just focus on the situation in front of you. Well, then, good luck and have fun. Okay. See what we have going on here.
The culprit is Genocide Jack. I'm sure. Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's impossible.
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on. There's just no proof for it.
Actually, wait, no, this is the wrong thing. I need to.
Hey, so
Okay, we'll get her next time.
Genocide Jack. I don't know who that is.
The evidence that shows Genocide Jack is. Yeah, okay. We know what the evidence is. We
The
just
culprit
missed
is
it.
Genocide Jack. I'm sure.
So basically, just
Case
use
closed,
the move to.
as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
But that's impossible.
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on. There's just no proof for it.
No proof, eh?
No, that's wrong.
We'll see about that.
I might know one reason he could be involved.
What?
I found this file while I was looking around the archive in the library. I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack case.
What? That's kind of weird as shit, isn't it? What was something like that doing in the library?
We got all sorts of stuff like that in the library.
The
It's
why
fun.
of it is probably more trouble than it's worth. So let's forget about that for now. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case in exceeding detail. According to the file, there appear to be two defining characteristics in every Genocide Jack case. The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every murder.
Oh, that's right. Boob lust.
What?
No. It's actually bloodlust.
But more important is the other characteristic, and it's something that has never been made public.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoto?
The other characteristic of every Genocide Jack case, which the world at large doesn't know, is how the victim was positioned.
I got it! Apparently, in every Genocide Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way. Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police department.
And presumably whoever investigated any given specific case.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way.
Interesting.
So, how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it? There's only one logical answer I can think of. It's because the culprit in this case is the real Genocide Jack.
Unless they read the file and just tried to do copycats.
No fucking way.
You're saying Genocide Jack is one of us?
Yes, in fact, it's Toko.
Okay, yep, Byakuya definitely committed the murder. That seals it for me.
What?
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukawa.
You lie!
What? Hey, okay, wait, hold on a sec. Toko has like bloodophobia or whatever, remember? What kind of serial killer is afraid of blood?
Is Toko Genocide Jack? The answer is yes and no.
Another riddle. Man, why is this gotta be so complicated?
It does seem like a riddle in a way, but I feel like I can just about see it. Genocide Jack is Toko, but isn't Toko. What does it mean? Don't like Toko, let's save her. Well, if we save Toko and she's not the murderer, then we're saving ourselves too. Okay. Okay, hold on. It's Wordle again. Alright, so H-I in the middle. So what are we going for here? Like, obviously the answer is like split personality, but what is the actual word they're looking for? Got a B, a Z, an I. Schizo. And could be schizo. Okay. It could be like a CH. And it's split personality disorder is what we're trying to get at here. What's the other name for that? It's dissociative identity disorder. That's not 6 letters. I'm gonna try an S. Oh, hold on. I think it's gonna be schizo. She's a schizo.
Now I understand.
But you really say he's blackened?
Is it because Genocide Jack has a split personality?
Huh?
I think I read that somewhere in the file too. They thought that the suspect might have, what did they call it? Dissociative identity disorder.
Oh, okay. But still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable. Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
True. One thing that shows Toko could have a split personality, it has to do with her behavior. Well, that her behavior changed.
I got it!
Kind of the definition of split personality.
You're talking about how she started acting totally different than usual, right?
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
I'm fine, I'm fine. Oh, was that a dead body? Hey, are you dead? Yeah. She was hit it real hard when she fainted. The world has a front and back, a top, beginning, and a bottom, a sea of truth and a web of lies. This is quite concerning. I mean, she sounds completely different.
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
Kind of wish it was Toko, she's annoying. Fair enough.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm. In other words, within her is one personality that can't handle blood, and one that obviously can.
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it's because she was scared of Genocide Jack?
Yes, scared of herself, rather. You won't let Genocide Jack have control? I'll drive out the killer, drive out the murderous fiend.
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting in. It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
How noble.
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
How?
Yeah. How can you know all this?
Oh, thank you. Icon Games? Glad to have you here.
I believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
No undershoots accusatory when the first murder happened? Fair enough.
Huh?
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation. She told me a most interesting story. She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time.
Well, that just seems kind of unwise to reveal. quite frankly, in this scenario.
And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
You said you wouldn't tell anyone.
What?
You promised. I can't believe you lied.
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to.
Fair enough.
This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale.
Oh. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling bad for Toko now, which I didn't think was possible, but here we are.
Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone. But in spite of that promise...
Okay, so why didn't we reveal this information before? It's more dramatic if you revealed it in the trial. I'm sorry, I couldn't keep our promise. Don't worry, never again. It's kind of a genius play on Byakuya's part. Frame it in such a way that it's Genocide Jack. She, given the split personality, how that works, wouldn't even know it's not Genocide Jack. She confesses. We all just go along and vote with it, and then we all die, and Byakuya goes free. I mean, I applaud him. But it's not gonna work. What's up, Genocide Jack? I have control over again.
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me.
Oh.
That's the only reason I promised.
Go out where? We're kind of stuck here, girl.
How many times do I have to tell you? I never said that. But you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing, could you?
I tried. I swear I tried to control it,
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment.
I hate you.
Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
The person?
Oh.
You don't mean...
Toko's body suddenly lunged backwards. A huge thud echoed across the courtroom. But in the next second... Oh my goodness!
Hello there! Is it me you were hoping to see?
Oh, Genocide Jill, hey.
What the heck? So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
Fair enough.
What the fuck is this?
Toko, what happened to you?
Not Toko, that's a loser name, and what happened is a textbook split personality.
This might be gaslighting? I don't... this doesn't really seem like gaslighting to me.
So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's faults.
So intense.
Like they say, sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body.
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
Agreed, Sakura. Agreed.
Yes, well, the world is composed of a front and a back, you know. Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie.
Uh-huh. See, the the thing that annoys me is she's not the killer, I'm fairly certain. So we're gonna have to, like, live with her for, like, as, like, a psychopath, like a maniac, a schizo for, like, at least until the next trial, maybe beyond. Like, how will we live with her knowing that she's a serial killer after this trial?
Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
This is the murderous fiend, Genocide Jack. This is beyond insane.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Huh.
Some of
of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you, I am the mastermind of all masterminds!
Uh-huh.
Just kidding!
Uh-huh.
Then it's not true?
Of course it's not true. How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid?
Sorry, Monokuma. Your Honor, my apologies.
And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless. I mean, they just let this idiotic, bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town.
How is it that Monokuma is, like, in the moral right here? What pills am I taking? What the heck?
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people. It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone. Just kidding again!
So you don't actually wax philosophical?
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death. There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us? If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed. Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack. If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined. So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting.
Well, there's a difference though, Kathy, because Genocide Jack is chaotic evil. Monokuma is more of like a lawful evil, I think, or neutral evil.
But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
Huh?
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
Imagine living with someone that Monokuma calls a freakazoid. Yeah. Creepazoid, technically.
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
Hello, Lights. How are you doing?
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you monster.
Which is why Byakuya's plan is working so well. Guys, you have to see through this. Maybe she's still right about that, but something's still bothering me. When she said, I need to get some more details about all of this. Yeah, it's a really good game so far. Quite like it. Library discount, status of the body, and disappearing stain.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely. What more proof do we need? Give it up. You killed her.
Okay, is Genocide Jack really good if that's something that doesn't match up?
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh?
So, okay, hold on. What can I do here?
When you compare your past murders to this incident,
Oops.
the modus operandi
Wrong thing.
matches completely. What more proof do we need?
Okay, actually, I think it's that the modus operandi doesn't match completely because she historically, the Genocide Jack killings are usually stabbings, not utilizing blunt force trauma.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely.
No, it doesn't.
No, that's wrong.
Which trial is this? This is the second one.
Are the methods of murder really exactly the same? I'm not so sure about that. I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
Huh? How's it any different?
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage, Let me tell you! I murder with passion and conviction.
This is a really weird dynamic, by the way, of like, my defense is I am a crazy maniac killer. I just didn't kill this person. I mean, to be fair, would that work in an actual court of law? Like, could I use an admission of murdering someone else as evidence that I didn't murder this specific thing I'm being tried for? The issue you run into there is I don't think murder has a statute of limitations, so if you admit to one murder on the stand, then they charge you with that one, so. But like in principle, the kind of legal strategy I think actually could apply of like, no, like if you had a crime you had committed that was past the statute of limitations, you could, and admitting to it helped you somehow with getting away with a crime or proving your innocence to a crime that you're actually being charged with. I think that actually is a good reason. It's a legal strategy you can actually pursue, I think, in theory. Anyways.
I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things. Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, everything. But what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or Chef Boyardee.
Yeah.
This is no creation of mine.
Let me rephrase that in a way that maybe makes more sense. There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
There's one clear difference between the murders. Stop the bloody message. The victim's fatal injury.
For one, the cause of death is different. In the Genocide Jack murders, all the victims were killed the same way. According to the case file, they were all apparently killed with a pair of scissors. But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes. That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their method?
Indeed.
And there's more. One more conflicting detail.
That's right. In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the tortellini, then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce.
Could you please stop comparing killing people to cooking? So, are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body was arranged?
Yes. So the second difference is I think it's what was used, I believe. Isn't one of the gifts you can give someone a pair of scissors? Maybe.
I got it! Do you remember what the killer used to suspend her? They used some kind of rope to hang her up by her wrists.
What is your point?
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something else was used to suspend them. Specifically, pairs of razor-sharp scissors.
She has a thing for scissors, it would seem.
And guess what? I use my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement. Like I said, I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use. And you know
Oh, and? What else?
Big Mac said there's two differences, but he's wrong.
Huh?
Big Mac? Are you referring to me?
God, I'm not that fat, am I?
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually one more difference.
Huh?
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack case. There's a pattern there, just waiting to be discovered.
Oh, is there?
Pattern.
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
Let's see. Pattern surrounding the Genocide Jack victims, and Chihiro didn't fit it. Because she was a girl, I guess? That's the only thing that really makes sense. Were all the other ones male? I think so?
I got it! Is it because Chihiro was a girl?
Bingo! Bullseye, right on the money!
What are you talking about?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
Yep, they're all men.
They were all guys?
Mm-hmm.
That's right! The people I killed with such passion and conviction are all adorable little men! I can't believe I said it! I'm so embarrassed!
Kind of misandrist, if you ask me, but okay.
The hell is wrong with you?
I can't help it! I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl, and the mopey side of me just hates it. But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan madam!
So since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid.
And I guess that's fair.
I have too much passion and conviction to cross that line. That's the absolute reality of the one and only.
We get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy. But that's not all there is to it. It's a different matter entirely when you're forced to kill in order to survive.
It's not a bad point, Byakuya.
Quiet, lowly cur!
Lowly cur?
You're saying that to Byakuya, of all people.
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive,
Just not Jill is maybe crazy, but they only kill men.
why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect.
True.
That does make some amount of sense.
Plus, whatever reason I have for killing, I would never leave out my prized scissors. Who would go out of their way to use a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell?
Maybe you used the dumbbell because you couldn't find any scissors in the school?
Any scissors?
Annie.
I don't just use any scissors. I only use my own set of high-class envy of the entire world scissors.
Okay, whatever. There still aren't any in the school.
Are you sure about that?
Okay, don't go killing us, though, please.
She's fully equipped.
Shuffle nervously a few feet away from Jill. Seriously.
That's right, so I can kill anywhere, anytime. Why would I resort to dumbbells or rope when I have my trusty scissors by my side? Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong. You can't, can you? Gutter dogs, all of you.
Jill's voice actress is so good. Agreed, agreed.
Not to mention, I have no clue how to tie a good knot. So rope's totally out of the question anyway.
Oh, he's getting pretty upset.
I have no idea what's going on anymore. Could such a heinous villain really be innocent?
But the body really was suspended, right? And nobody but the police knew about that.
Aside from Byakuya.
Yeah. That's why we figured it had to be the real deal and not some copycat killer or whatever.
Actually, hold on. There is one person who could have copied the Genocide Jack cases. I mean, you know about it,
Here's my answer.
and you were very proactive with wanting to
Byakuya,
sort of lead this
it's
investigation.
possible you could have found out, isn't it? You'd have no problem gaining access to classified government documents or internal police records. Plus, you'd already looked through the Genocide Jack file before this all happened, hadn't you?
Are you saying Mr. Togami did it?
It's not back out, freak. Yeah. You can select yourself. I did it. It was me. Case closed. Enough.
Then the reason he pushed the theory of Genocide Jack being the killer so hard was because he wanted to pin the crime on her.
So, he rearranged the scene to disguise it and make it look like I put my stamp on it. The adorable glasses man was behind it all. Oh, I'm on fire!
Well, Byakuya, what's your response?
I see. So now the suspicion falls on me. Then I must ask, when would you say I began acting suspicious? Surely you must have an answer.
Looking back and thinking about it now, the way you were acting right before we discovered the body was a little strange.
And the locker rooms. They're suspicious, very suspicious indeed, wouldn't you agree? Huh? Suspicious? Seems nobody's searched the locker rooms. Let's start with the girls' locker room.
You wanted to go to the girls' locker room right away, right? But since you're a guy...
I should have naturally thought of the boys' locker room first. Is that what you want to say?
Well,
the victim was Chihiro, a girl.
Exactly.
Hence why I said we should check the girls' locker room.
Makes sense.
Nothing strange about that, I'd say.
On the contrary, there's something very strange.
Okay then, what's so strange about it?
I feel like we're barking up the wrong tree here.
Go ahead, share with the rest of the class.
There's a clear contradiction in what Bianchio just said. I need to make it clear to everyone. New elements have been added to non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? Absolutely. Alright, we're gonna add something called a truth flashback. If you aim at a weak spot and hold down the left mouse button, then you'll memorize that weak spot. This memorized phrase can only be shot once as a single truth bullet. If you shoot or change the truth bullet, it will disappear from your truth cylinder. However, you can use this flashback feature as many times as you want. If you don't seem to have the answer to a lie or contradiction in your loaded truth bullets, it might be wise to memorize a different weak spot and use that to make your case. When's the best time to flashback? Well, you'll just have to use your keen wits, won't you? In this case, though, I will say that if you don't use a flashback, you won't be refuting anything. Well, good luck and have fun. Okay, so we can, like, point out contradictions within the testimony, I guess. Monokuma file number 2 is it, but we already know that's not going to be it.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body.
Okay.
But he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So, of course, I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
you wish you'd taken me with you.
Huh? Hearing Byakuya's comment about Chihiro being a girl, I realized there's a clear contradiction there.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird...
Oh, is it that we didn't know Chihiro was the one who was murdered?
With the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it!
But we would have known she was the one who was, like, missing, right? Maybe?
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl.
No, that's wrong. I'll tell you what's so strange about that.
In any case, I think this is a pretty weak part of our case.
Because up until we actually discovered the body, we couldn't have known who the victim was. So your claim that you went to the girls' locker room first because Chihiro was the victim doesn't hold up.
I see. That's a good answer, I must admit. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. But your reasoning is still too weak.
Huh?
What's wrong? Is that it? Surely you've got more than that. Go ahead. Show us.
What's with Byakuya's attitude? It's like he doesn't even care. Got him cornered, but he's acting like it has nothing to do with him.
What's the matter? You're not finished already, are you? There must be more to it.
There is. I think.
There is more to it. Think about it. We just talked about the differences between this case and past Genocide Jack incidents.
Alright, Kyoko, come on. Bring it up for us. You're good.
The proof you're looking for is hidden in there.
Oh? Proof that I'm the culprit, you mean?
The difference between this case and the other Genocide Jack murders, the evidence that proves Byakuya is responsible is hidden in there? What could it be? could be we could be going at the extension cord now, maybe. It's not the strongest evidence. Desk clamp with the counter or the disappearing stain. Okay, we'll see what the testimony is.
The difference between the cases? You want me to explain it again? When I want to kill, I use my very own special scissors. And I use those same scissors to arrange the body.
Okay.
Chihiro was suspended with... It was some kind of rope. Was it not?
That's right! It absolutely was!
Then there must be something very fishy indeed about that rope.
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it from, huh?
I've never seen that rope before in my life.
Okay, I think this is it. We need the
Obviously,
desk
somebody
clamp.
else must have had it hidden away somewhere.
Because it's the extension cord you used for your desk lamp.
What? The difference between the cases? You want me to explain it again? When I want to kill, I use my very own special scissors. And I use those same scissors to arrange the body.
But Chihiro was suspended with... It was some kind of rope. Was it not?
That's right! It absolutely was!
Then there must be something very
Because the fact that it's the extension cord doesn't really prove anything, but the fact that he's overstated his case of I've never seen it before in my life. He's taken too much to try to take the heat off him, and it's created a logical contradiction.
Actually, I'm pretty sure you have seen it before. Because, you see, that rope, or should I say, that extension cord?
What? An extension cord?
Byakuya, you've used the extension cord in the library more than once, haven't you? And the same extension cord that was in the library all this time went missing after the murder.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way someone who uses that extension cord as much as you do wouldn't discover that fact.
Perhaps.
And Byakuya must be the one who took the extension cord. I can't imagine any other possibility.
That's really what you think? Then your conclusion is something like this? I killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, then hung her up and wrote that bloody message. I intentionally made it look like Genocide Jack was behind it. Is that about right?
I mean, more or less, yeah. What's the problem? He's doing it again. He's totally calm, totally unconcerned. As if he's not even involved. Wait, not even involved?
What's wrong? I asked you if you think that's what happened.
Hell yes, that's what happened. So that's it, right? Byakuya's the killer.
I don't disagree with not disagreeing.
What?
He kept calling this a game, right? So he'd be totally willing to do something like this to win.
Sorry, but could we hold on just a second? I think we need to talk about this a little more.
Huh? Do we really need to? You've already decided who did it.
I know, but still, there's something that's still bothering me.
Is that right? And what, pray tell, is still bothering you? I killed her in the girls' locker room, then disguised my crime. Specifically, I dressed it up to make it look like it was the work of a homicidal psychopath. What about all that bothers you?
Why are you so calm, man? Wait. What was that just now? Something's not right. Byakuya's remarks right now, there's something in there that concerns me. The scene of the... It's gotta be the scene of the crime, right? Yeah.
I got it! You
Now we're going
say
for
you
the...
killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, right? But are you sure about that? Isn't it possible that the murder took place somewhere else?
How disappointing. What kind of question is that? Even in the world of disappointments, this is a true letdown.
Hey, Byakuya!
She was found dead in the girls' locker room. There is absolutely no question about that. How could the scene of the crime have been anywhere else?
Well, I think it's entirely possible that she was killed somewhere else, then carried there later, along with the rest of the murder scene.
The rest of the murder scene? That was awfully specific. Please tell me you have a reason for saying all of that.
I believe I do.
Hey, Byakuya, did I just take you off guard? The story suddenly moved to the crime scene. Byakuya, who had been so confident up till now. Maybe Byakuya never even realized that the actual scene of the crime could have been somewhere else.
Hey, don't just move on without permission. What do you mean she was killed somewhere else?
Come on, Makoto. If there's any chance the murder took place somewhere else, let's see the proof.
Evidence that shows the murder took place somewhere else? Okay. I mean, there's a lot of things. I just need to focus on those things that got switched. And it's gonna be the carpet and the posters. Hopefully it doesn't matter which one, and the stain. Let's just start with the posters. I think that's probably the most obvious one.
I got it.
There's a lot of things that
she was
are
killed
there.
somewhere else is the poster that's hanging in each locker room.
Your proof is some posters?
It's part of the proof, okay?
The poster in the girls' locker room was a picture of a big-boobed supermodel. But don't you think that's kind of strange? Why would the girls' locker room have a poster like that?
I bet those massive jugs of hers were totally fake!
Thank you, Jill.
Meanwhile, the boys' locker room had a poster of the super popular boy band Tornado. Again, that doesn't really seem to belong in a boys' locker room.
So you're saying that maybe the posters were switched?
And there's one other thing I noticed about the locker rooms. You know what I'm talking about, right, Sakura?
You're referring to my protein coffee, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Protein coffee?
While I was in the girls' locker room earlier, I spilled some protein coffee on the carpet. But I noticed that after the murder, the stain had been totally scrubbed away.
No, it's not that the stain was scrubbed away. It was moved. Well, hold on. What do I need to present here? It could be the boys' locker room. Oops.
The stain on the girls' locker room carpet wasn't...
Okay, yeah. That was the right thing to present.
In fact, I found it on the boys' locker room carpet.
That's definitely the stain from my protein coffee.
Then, does that mean that the carpets were switched too? But why would anyone do that?
Because there would have obviously been blood on the carpet that was the murder took place at.
To move the murder scene from one locker room to the other. It's certainly plausible, don't you think? In other words, in order to completely swap the scene of the crime, the blood-stained poster and carpet were moved along with the dead body. By doing this, the killer was able to change the entire room where the murder took place.
I can certainly follow your reasoning, but
Why would they do
why
that?
would the culprit bother doing that?
That's the question, isn't it?
Huh? Why would they go through all that trouble of switching the scene of the crime? Actually, an even bigger question. If the murder did take place in the boys' locker room, then how did Chihiro get in the boys' locker room in the first place? To get into the locker rooms, you have to swipe your e-handbook across the card reader device. But Chihiro's handbook should have only allowed her access to the girls' locker room. She had no way to get into the boys' locker room to begin with.
No, she did have a way, and I can tell you what it was.
I highly doubt that.
Shut up! I'm telling you, I know how she could have done it.
Is he right? Could Chihiro really have gotten into the boys' locker room somehow? Yes, he could have. Alright, broken handbook, 2 locker room posters, or the boys' locker room card poster. It's gotta be the broken handbook, right? Or a previous statement.
Is it really possible? Could Chihiro really have gotten into the boys' locker room somehow?
Ah! I got it! She must have hacked her e-handbook.
Oh.
Was the ultimate programmer, after all. I'm sure that would have been no problem for her. No, I don't think that's it. She used the thing that was in the main hall.
Huh? What thing?
I'm talking about Leon's handbook, of course. If she had that, She could get into the boys' locker room no problem.
Oh, that's why it's important that it's broken, because she couldn't have used it. Okay.
Is it really
There we go.
possible? Could Chihiro really have gotten into the boys' locker room somehow?
Ah, I got it. She must have hacked her
She
e-handbook.
does. Okay.
She was the ultimate programmer, after all. I'm sure that would have been no problem for her. No, I don't think that's it. She used the thing that was in the main hall.
Huh? What thing?
I'm talking about Leon's handbook, of course.
No, it's wrong.
It's wrong. Dead wrong. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think Chihiro used Leon's handbook.
Why not?
Because Leon's handbook was broken.
Oh. Well, then, yeah, I guess that'd be pretty impossible, huh?
I am struck silent by how quickly you gave up.
Plus, isn't there a regulation against using someone else's handbook?
Well, technically no.
Actually, the rule states that loaning your handbook is prohibited. It says nothing about borrowing one. In other words, you could borrow a dead person's handbook all you want, and you'd be safe.
Yup. Hit the nail square on the noggin.
Of course, if it were broken, that wouldn't make any sense anyway.
So then, she must have hacked hers, like I said. She used her ultimate programmer skills and...
Psst. You can't fix an e-handbook. The instant you open one up, a security buzzer starts glaring.
Really?
So, if she didn't use Leon's handbook, and she didn't modify her own handbook,
Maybe Mr. Naegi's initial assumption is just wrong?
No, I'm not. I'm never wrong.
It seems like there's no way she could have got into the boys' locker room. So I guess so.
Okay then, I vote for Byakuya.
Well, the thing is, I still think it's Byakuya. So I'm not. Maybe is it not Byakuya? Maybe if it's not Byakuya, it could be Taka. Because Taka is the sort of guy I think she would trust to work out with her. That or Mondo. She and Mondo are pretty close, too. Is that it, then? Joe was killed in the girls' locker room, and Byakuya is the one who did it? Really? That's still... I don't know what else I can do. Like, I know exactly how the murder happened. I just don't know who did it. With certainty.
Hold on a second.
Thank you, Kyoko. Okay.
I agree with you, though. I think you're on the right track.
What the? You finally decide to open your mouth and that's what you've got to say? There's no way she could get in the boys' locker room, right? So...
Why are you so sure she couldn't get in? There's still one other way she could have gained access.
Mm-hmm.
What?
What are you talking about? What other way is there?
Well, to explain that, why don't we take a little break from the trial? I'd like you all to come see something.
Wait.
Kyoko's a real one, for sure.
What do you think you're doing?
Don't worry. This'll make the whole trial more exciting. I'm sure that thought must please you.
Huh? It'll make things more exciting? Well, all right then. I declare an official class trial recess.
Oh, recess. That's new.
For real?
Now then, what is it you want to show us? It better not be boring or I'll be very unhappy.
Oh, I have no doubt it'll meet your lofty expectations. So, shall we go?
I'm kind of nervous about what's gonna happen.